We've all met them. The person who walks into the room, smiles warmly, sweet talks everyone around them, and yet, after spending time with them, you feel strangely exhausted. That's the effect of what the internet calls an energy vampire. At first, they seem gracious, generous even, but as time passes, their impact starts to show. You leave conversations drained, second-guessing yourself, and somehow responsible for emotions that aren't even yours. These types of individuals often hide their self-absorbed nature behind friendliness, which is why it's so hard to spot. They're not villains in the obvious sense. In fact, many aren't even aware of the effect that they have on others. They're caught in their own struggles, their own emotions, pulling energy without even realizing it. But here's the truth. Whether it's intentional or not, the impact is real and it matters. I'm Jourdan Travers, a licensed psychotherapist, and today I want to talk about the 3 signs that can help you recognize an energy vampire, whether it's in a friendship, a relationship, or even in a family dynamic, and what you can do to protect yourself and your own psychological well-being. And make sure to hit like and subscribe to our channel for more science-backed insights. Here's the first sign. You're stuck on a constant guilt trip. Emotional manipulators thrive on guilt. They pull you into feeling sorry for them as a way to gain control. You might hear them say things like, "I can't believe I put in so much effort and others still messed it up." Or, "I don't know what I did to deserve this." Or, "I feel like I'll fall apart if you're not there. How can you expect me to do this without you?" Each phrase is a hook. And if you're naturally empathic, you'll take the bait. Research on guilt trips show us that not all guilt trips are the same. Some are playful and even help with bonding. Others can teach awareness. But the kind that shows up with energy vampires, the side effect guilt trip, is different. It happens when someone in distress flips the script and plays the victim. They use guilt to pull you into compliance, not connection. The side effect isn't just guilt, it's resentment. You feel manipulated, pressured to change your behavior, responsible for their emotions, and yet distanced from them at the same time. That's why these interactions are so corrosive. You're not only being criticized, you're being guilted into believing that it's your job to fix the problem. And over time, that erodes trust and intimacy, leaving you drained and estranged. The only way out is to stop absorbing that guilt as truth. Instead, stand firm in your own boundaries. "I feel uncomfortable when you speak to me that way." Or, "I can't make it, but thank you for asking." Or simply, "I hear you, but I need to step back." Because once you see the guilt trip for what it is, a control strategy, not a reflection of your worth, you stop carrying the side effects of someone else's insecurity. The antidote here is building your self-worth so you can push back. That might mean practicing self-compassion and reminding yourself that flaws don't make you unworthy. It can mean surrounding yourself with positive people who lift you up instead of weigh you down. Or even challenging the negative self-talk you've internalized because of them, reframing your thoughts towards your strengths. Gratitude can also help redirect your focus away from their chaos and back to the good that's already present in your life. The bottom line is the moment you recognize you're being manipulated, it's time to bring the focus inward. Protect yourself before their guilt becomes your identity. Number 2, you feel consistently put down. Energy vampires don't just drain you through guilt, they also do it through criticism. In an attempt to cover up their own insecurities, they develop a need to exert dominance. To make themselves feel big, they make you feel small. Not the kind that helps you grow, the kind that chips away at you slowly until you start questioning if you're ever enough. Research out of Carnegie Mellon shows why this happens. People with low self-esteem don't hold a balanced picture of the people they're close to. Instead of integrating the good with the bad, they split them apart, filing every flaw into its own mental folder, while the strength sits somewhere else entirely separate. The result? Every mistake shines under a spotlight. Every imperfection feels larger than life. To them, your flaws are not just a part of the whole picture, they are the whole picture. And that's why the criticism feels relentless. It's not simply about what you did wrong, it's about how their mind stores who you are. So when you feel constantly judged, constantly measured against impossible standards, it's not your imagination, it's the way their perception of you has been fractured. You may notice them shifting attention back to themselves in subtle but biting ways. I know you're struggling in your relationship, but at least you have one. I feel so lonely. Or, I understand you have to work, but I really need your help with this. Or even, you want to stay in tonight? I get it, but you're acting too old for your age. Each remark chips away at your confidence, and slowly you feel depleted. The temptation might be to withdraw silently, but research and experience both show that assertiveness is a healthier response. Try saying things like, I feel uncomfortable when you speak to me in that tone of voice. Or, I can't attend that event, but thank you for inviting me. Or even, I understand your position, but I'm not interested and I need to take a break. It won't always be well received, but that's not the point. The point is that you're prioritizing your needs over someone else's criticism. That's the path out of their cycle of depletion. Number 3, you're easily taken advantage of. Some of us are more vulnerable than others to energy vampires. And that submission is exactly what energy vampires feed on. A Russian study published in 2012 revealed 4 striking patterns. The first is anxiety. If you live with a constant undercurrent of worry, you're more likely to yield when someone pushes you. Manipulators sense this. They know that an anxious person will do almost anything to quiet the tension, even if it means giving in. The second is a fear of failure. People who dread getting things wrong, who constantly worry about letting others down, are prime targets. A manipulator doesn't have to push very hard. All they need to do is suggest you're falling short, and suddenly you're scrambling to please them. Conflict style matters too. If you're the kind of person who avoids conflict, or if you rush to compromise just to smooth things over, you may unknowingly make yourself more open to exploitation. Manipulators thrive on that. They depend on your willingness to bend because it means that they never have to. And finally, there's self-esteem. This study found that manipulators often carry artificially high levels of self-esteem, which flips the script. People with lower self-esteem, the ones who doubt themselves, second-guess their worth, or undervalue their voice, are the ones most at risk. A manipulator's inflated confidence feeds off that imbalance. This is why setting boundaries is not just helpful, it's essential. Boundaries encircle your well-being, protecting it from constant erosion. And here's what that can look like in practice. Be specific. State the exact behavior you won't accept and what happens if it continues. Prioritize your needs. Give yourself permission to choose your happiness over someone else's demands. And learn to take space. Saying no doesn't make you cruel, it makes you healthy. Remember, boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're fences that keep the garden of your life safe. And you don't have to build them alone. Support from trusted friends or even a therapist can help you maintain them when guilt or fear threatens to break them down. Here's the truth. At the heart of it, energy vampires aren't monsters. They're people who are often blind to their own wounds. But that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your peace to heal theirs. You can't always control who crosses your path. You can't stop every draining interaction, but you can decide how much of yourself you hand over. And if you're realizing how much energy you've lost, how often you've been pulled into someone else's storm, know this. You don't have to walk back into the light alone. I'm Jourdan Travers. I'm the clinical director at Awake Therapy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.